You're live. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Almost Awesome podcast. We're here at episode 32. Man, it feels like it's been such a long time, but we're only at 32. I can't believe it. But as usual, tonight we have our co-host Matt here with us. Matt, I hope you're doing well. You look pretty relaxed and casual in a nice white undershirt. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm doing well, man. Casual, feeling good. I think it'll be a good podcast episode today.
I hope so. Because tonight's guest is someone very near and dear to us. Someone who is probably the most influential person in both our lives. And literally without her, this podcast would not exist because neither of us would exist. And tonight's guest is the party animal herself. Some people call her Jeanette. Some people call her Auntie Janet. But me and Matt like to call her Mom. And Mom, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Here. How are you doing? How are you doing tonight, Mom?
Very good. Doing very well.
I hope you're not too nervous. I'm glad that you accepted the call to be on the podcast.
This is Mom's internet debut.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And after all of her talks of trying to get her off of Google searches, now they can look her up and find this podcast, and they'll know exactly what she looks like. So sorry,
We've done
Mom.
the opposite. We've created more content for Mom.
There we go.
But to start off our podcast, we have a monthly theme question that we like to ask all of our guests, and our theme question this month is, if you could go back in time and give yourself some advice, if you could go back in time 5 years ago and give yourself some advice, or just like say some words of comfort to your 5 years ago self, what would you want to tell yourself?
I would have spent more time with my kids.
Really, Mom?
Yes.
Are you just sucking up right now, or is that genuine?
No, because you you are in the whole life you're with us. And then you grow up and then you start on your own and we miss you so much. So if I was to go back in time, I would have spent more quality time, not just time, quality time is what I'm saying.
As a follow-up to that, what would you try to do? Because I guess even then, like if we think about 5 years ago, like Mike had already moved out, Bradley hadn't been born yet, and then me and Matt would still be here. So if you could like I guess like what do you think you would try to do to try to spend more quality time with us? Like it could be something like, would you just like try to invite us out to like go eat dinner out like as a family more often? Try to go on like family trips, or just go out places.
Yeah, just like like go out more often with you, or maybe spend more time at home when you are home. To be able to talk, to be able to do things at home. Do some cooking lessons, maybe.
And not yell at us
Ironing lessons.
when we do things wrong when we're cooking.
Maybe this is something that, Mom, my question would be two things. I think it's really cool. I think it makes a lot of sense from the parenting aspect. Like, you would want to pass more of the things you've learned to us, like cooking,
Yes.
ironing. Like, it's cool because those are the things that make us more functional adults at the end of the day. It's crazy. Like, for me, I was cleaning my room the other day. Like, I was cleaning my apartment the other day, and all I could think about was there's people out there that don't care about this stuff, and I only learned this because when we were younger, you always made sure things were clean, and you were like strict on that. And I think when I was younger, it was something I never appreciated. Now I keep my apartment relatively clean. It's not the cleanest, don't get me wrong. But it's crazy to me because like those are the lessons that I've realized I learned from you that I would have never learned otherwise. Is like there's an importance in keeping things clean.
Mhm.
And I think it's really cool. I think it's cool that you would have wanted us to learn more lessons like that. Um, I think the thing that's also interesting is the idea of you saying you wanted to spend more quality time with us. What what would have your what do you think your hopes would have been with that?
I
Like
would
by
say
spending more time with us, what do you think? What would you have wanted?
more conversation. Like
Mhm.
I would be able to share with you my experiences, my lessons learned in life. We never had that much of a discussion in that. I reared you the way, you know, I don't remember telling you things to do.
Yeah.
Like it's just that you just learn from the day-to-day thing, but there
Mhm.
are still more in life that I wish I could have discussed with you. Like, but it
Mhm.
depends too on the situation. If there's no situation, there's nothing to discuss. But like the talks, that
Yeah.
the sharing of conversation, that eventually you learn from what my experiences are.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But that's the
That's
good
cool.
thing too, because it's not too late. It's a nice thing with technology now is that like we're all so easily accessible through technology, right? We don't have to like write a letter, wait like a week to get it, then wait for a response back. We can like easily uh like just call each other up or talk on Messenger. And I, I guess like when I think about it too, it's almost like an onus on us, like where um I guess it's I know for me it's always been kind of weird where um I guess like as I've gotten older, it's become easier for me to like just like talk to you as like just like some like a close friend, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like obviously growing up as a parent, you're more focused on you know making sure that we grow up to fine adults. It's hard to find the time of like, oh, like do you have anything you want to talk about? Because even for me now, there are times where uh I find it difficult to talk to like you or Pop and just like have like a casual talk. But like I know like the nights I come home from late from school or like when you come home from work and we have like our small chats, like I really like them and I wish we did them more often earlier than now.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. That's those kinds of little chats. But now, because when you are home, it's more easier to conduct those little chats.
Mhm.
When you are far away from home, it's like I have to make an appointment to call you for us to talk. That's
Mhm.
that's the way of life that happens when you start working and you are
Mhm.
away from home. Whereas if you're home, anytime that we meet each other in the kitchen, we can start a discussion.
Mhm.
But at that time when you were home, I was busy earning a living
Mhm.
to support you all. Now I am not, I'm not crazy about my job, that I can just, not think about the job, not think about the money, and just talk. But
Mhm.
then now you're away, and again, it's like I have to make an appointment for us to talk. And
Mhm.
then it's not easy to talk if you are in a media, not face to face. The face to face talking is way easier, and you
Mhm.
can, you're free to talk, and it's not like there's some distractions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It
That's
feels
the
more like genuine, wholesome.
uh-huh, uh-huh. And even the little chats is very important,
Mhm.
because like with the little chats, I could share from my experience.
Hmm. So this is so fascinating. Because like this is only the first thing. Like we're the point of the question was, if I go all the way back to where we started, was like, what are the three things you would have told yourself 5 years ago? Like this conversation alone, we could spend the whole podcast talking about, because I think it's really cool. It's fascinating to me because I think at the end of the day, Mom, that's for me, that's eye opening. Is that in a weird way, I think we feel the same, but neither of us. And then it's crazy because we're all so busy. Like, to be honest, it's just like, you're busy with your life, all the stresses in your work. I am too. Mark is, Mike is. Like, all of us now, we have all of our own lives that we have to manage. That like, it becomes hard to prioritize each other because we have to spend so much time thinking about all these other things that are going on in life. And it's crazy because I think at the same time, like, what's important is we all have to make the effort to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's really eye-opening is that now it's out on the table that both of us want to make the effort. Now it's just finding the time to do it, which is really hard. Because like at the end of the day, I think it's really cool. And it's funny because I feel like when you say like make an appointment, you're basically saying me or Mike. There's not that many kids you could be talking about at the end of the day that are like, it's hard to talk to people, you know. So, but I think it's but it makes sense, like, because I think at the same time we are super busy, where it's like when I get a message from you, my mind isn't sitting here to say, here, I'm here to talk to my mom. It's like I'm hanging out with my coworkers, or I'm thinking about work or doing work. Like my mind isn't there focused to talk about you. But it's also like interesting because now I realize it's something we both want. It's like there's this connection I feel like we've been missing. And now we're both adults that we can almost, I don't think we talk as peers yet, but we can talk at a different level than we could have ever done before. Because of this world, like now I'm seeing the world closer to the same lens that you saw it in when you were raising us, which I think is really, really cool. But I want to take us back to the original question, because I think now we have your first thing, which is like I would have spent more quality time with my kids, which means a lot. What would your second and third thing be?
I only thought of one thing.
The second thing is be ready for this question.
That's the right answer,
Well,
Mom. At the end of the day, that's the right answer. But
the 5 year, when you become this age, it's like time just goes so fast, and it's like so it's like now I have the time, and there's no more, like now that I have the time, they're not there anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like
So
back
the
then
time
you
you
didn't
take
have
now
the
for
time
you.
when they're there, but now that you have the time, they're not there anymore. And there's no like sweet middle spot, right? It was almost just instant where I'm too busy. I don't have time to like connect, have a long talk with them. And then now that you do, boom.
Yep.
But
And then when you become older, it's like like you worry less, and it's like you just make sure that you every day you wake up and you're happy. That's the like. And then when we were younger, that was not the thought. The thought was, let's get over this day, let's do everything we need to do today, and then we're done.
yeah.
Like now it's like it's different. It's like when you get into my age, your goal is, I have to be happy every day. Every day I have to be happy. So I cannot look back on the past, what would I have changed, because there's nothing I would have changed in the past. To me, I have a perfect life. There's nothing I would ask for. Why you turned us sideways?
that's a good
like
answer,
you-
Mom. That's a good answer.
It stumped him.
The only thing, well, no, it did. Like, I mean, I think it speaks so much because the only thing you would have changed is you would have got closer to us. To me, that's like the perfect example. No, I mean, I don't know about the perfect. I don't know if you and Pop were perfect parents. Don't get me wrong, but like, and I think of what I value in a parent, it's that's the priority. I think like you've instilled that value in us as kids. Is one day when we have kids, they're the priority. The second that clicks, and like that's huge. It's like hard for me to fathom. I think it's amazing Mike's going through that now. Um, but it's like something I feel like I'm just realizing now, because when we're kids, it's the same thing that you're going through, but in a different lens. We're not thinking about what you as parents are going through. We're thinking, how do I get through this day? How do I get through school because it's brand new? How do I get through my own trial and tribulations? And like you're teaching us on the way and making sure we can figure that out on our own. But during those times, we don't realize you guys are going through the same thing at a different level. I think that's huge.
And you, the thing though is, now I can see all the effort that I put into you. You know, now from before, you don't see that because you're too busy. Again, I'm saying you're too busy just completing the day, doing the task that you have to do today. Now I can just look and see there goes all the effort that I put into these children. And hopefully, it will be like a life that's going to be happy like my life. It's a difficult life, but you can make it through.
Yeah. Just because life is tough doesn't mean you can't have a good time.
Well, you have to always be positive, because it's a very difficult life. If you are not thinking positive, it's gonna be more difficult. So the key is positive thinking. You always have to see the good things of something good in a situation. That's the key to I guess a happy life. And it's all in your mind. Happiness is all in you. It's not, you don't get it from other people.
Dang, I'm already winded. I'm already winded, and we've only just started.
No, well, you know what's so crazy to me, Mom, is like that's like a message to me that I think I've picked up. Like my viewpoint in life is more optimistic already, and it's crazy because I think the people around me realize that too. Like they see me as more of a positive person. But it's also amazing because like I feel like you and I have never had the conversation that like that's like the key thing. That's like one of the lessons you've learned in life was like positivity. But like I learned it inherently by the things you've taught me in terms of like execution, which were things like cleaning my room, which were things where like try your hardest and make things look nice. That's like one of the things that I like. You didn't spend a lot of time teaching me the life lessons. You taught me a lot of time. You spent a lot of time teaching me how to get through life. I think what's really cool is that somehow the things that I view a step past that align with how you view things, which is really cool. Yeah, I'm also like with Mark too. This is like winding. Like we've already started, and I like this is it's really awesome. I feel like we've never talked like this before, and like it's really cool.
Yeah, I thought this would be a good opportunity to kind of get us to sit down and just like talk. It seems like almost like a strange way of going about doing it, where I had to fabricate a situation for us to be able to do this, but it almost like you said earlier, it brings to light that we all kind of want this, right? We all kind of want this, but we're also kind of scared to like say it and put it on the table. But now that it's out there, like I feel like it's gonna make things easier for us to like put time into um, spending with each other and everything like that. Like just having like a nice chat of like, you know, how was your day? How are things going and stuff like that.
Yeah, because even if you if even if it's only a few minutes of chat, it is still a chat. You know, it's still, you're still talking to each other, interacting with each other, and then you're able to feel the other person.
And I guess like a weird thought kind of came into my head where um it I guess like in like our lives, things never seemed like too wild or too out of control, too problematic where we had to like talk to you about like, "Oh mom, I'm going through this." Like just the way that you and Pop raised us, we kind of you raised us really well where we were kind of prepared for like a lot of situations, a lot of things where, you know, if we did run into like a hurdle in life, we kind of like were able to figure it out on our own. So like I thought about it where it's you did a great job raising us, but like maybe it was too good of a job, because like if we had troubles and hardships, then, you know, we have no one to talk to but you or Pop, and then, you know, that would spark, you know, the us like bonding and talking more. But I think in the end, like I'm still like I'm super grateful for the way like you raised me, you raised us, and the life and the blessings that you've, you know, given to us through your sacrifices. And I just hope that one day we as your kids can like show you through our lives like how thankful we are for all the stuff that you've done for us.
I have one question, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take it past 5 years. What if you could go back in time and tell yourself one thing or two things or three things when you were first, like, when you first had Mike, when you first became a parent? What's like the three things you would have told yourself then?
Ooh.
Whether it is like buy more diapers or whether it's like spend more quality time with your kids. What kind of advice do you think you would have told yourself then when you first faced the challenge of parenthood?
You know, you don't when you when you become a parent, it doesn't become like a challenge. It's like something that you have to do, and you just have to do it. So there's really nothing that I could say that I could have done
That
Differently.
you would have done differently.
differently. But when it's rearing children is like a experiment. You never know whether you do not know at all, not at all, what you're doing until they become a parent.
Mm.
You see, now I can see it in Michael,
Mhm.
but for the I never knew how you would turn out to be.
Mhm.
You cannot tell because there are it's not just us that's around you. There are the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So that's the one that you know could affect, could create problems.
Mhm.
But there's nothing I cannot recall of anything that I have done that I would say I would have done differently. Maybe okay, there differently now.
There it is.
Now I'm thinking. I could have found a good earning job.
What was
I
it,
could
Mom?
have found a good earning job. But what's the
Yeah.
to me, money is important, but it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
It that I don't think I would have a different approach.
So I guess to touch on a little bit of like where you said like when you're raising us, it's kind of like an experiment. You don't know how we're gonna turn out.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you see us like for who we are now, like as I would say as adults, do you think you did a good job? Do you think like any of us kind of like swerved off as to where you thought we would end up going?
I think I did a very good job. I there's no book to tell you how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is that it's always been to me. When you do good, you never go wrong. So I think that's what I have taught all of you, to always do good, and that way you don't get into trouble. And when you do good, you never go wrong. That's life. And I think of course I would say I did a very good job.
Yeah, you're biased, Mom.
But like I guess like
I cannot say I did a bad job.
I guess like the way you raised us, did like any of us kind of like kind of surprise you as to like, oh, I never would have thought they would end up like this, or I never would have thought they would have gone, this route in their life.
When you first had us, did you think all three of us would be nurses, for example?
No, because all I wanted from you was to finish a college degree. I didn't care what degree you had, just bring me a diploma. That's what I told all of you.
You kind of said you should be a nurse.
Well, it was a suggestion, but now looking back, I'm thinking, oh, I'm so glad none of them became a nurse. You have to have that heart to become a nurse. A person cannot just become a regular person cannot just become a nurse.
So you're saying we don't have that kind of heart to become a nurse because you raised us this way.
So it's your fault I'm not a nurse.
Well, a nurse is a difficult job.
I think that was one of the coolest things you did for us growing up, though, Mom, was I think you made it okay for us to do whatever we wanted to do as long as we met a certain level of requirement, which was good. I think that was really good for us. Like, you found a really good balance of giving us freedom, but also making sure we do what we need to do. That seems like, to me, one of the hardest things to accomplish as a parent is to give them freedom, but also give them the guidance we need to have to become, good human beings at the end of the day.
Well, that's the key. You have to you have to lay the rules, and that way the rules are followed. If you don't have rules, then they just go crazy. Or they may have gone crazy, I just didn't know about it.
I know. So one thing I wanted to bring up, which is kind of cool, and I know like we kind of harped on like you wish you spent more quality time with us, but I feel like even as a mom, it's weird to say, like, it's weird thinking of like other people and their relationships with their moms, and like knowing my relationship with you, and like especially your relationship with like our friends and like the parties we would throw and stuff like that. And like it when I think back on it, I'm like, why would my parents allow me to throw a house party at the house, and then they come and then they party with us, which was like it seems like, even now I think back on it, it seems like unfathomable. Or like even just like how like just like all my friends, they enjoy like hang out with you. Or like even that one time where I had some friends over here, and then you came home because you told me you were coming home late. You came home and everyone was so excited that you were home. I was like, wait, guys, I invited you here. But they all wanted to see you. And I think it's like, it's that, I feel like that dynamic is not something you see very often. It's something that like, it's super cool to be able to like say that like my friends are like friends with my mom, and my mom's super cool to hang out with. But I guess like to ask a question, where do you think that came from in you? So like, I guess almost have the willingness to let us like throw house parties at a house and then hang out with our friends and get to know them and stuff like that.
Because that came to mind because I wanted I wanted you to be at home rather than you being in a different home where I don't even know what kind of environment you're in. At least when you come home with your friends, I see your friends. I know who they are. I can pick up on who are the good ones and who are the not good ones.
So who are the not good ones?
Well, I really have not found a friend of yours that I would say get rid of that friend. So I have not from the time you were kids until now that you've grown, you've always brought your friends home, and for some reason it made me happy to see them. It made me happy to feed them. It made me happy to for them to party here in the house. It's because they were not trouble kids. Maybe if they were trouble kids, then it would have been done. No more partying in the house. You see, that's the I think more of it was when you were little. I wanted you to be. I would be the one to see you with your friends, other than another parent seeing you being in another house. But when you have parties here, I have fun too.
Yeah, I still remember that. I still remember that one of the first parties where I woke up the next morning and I saw a picture of you on Facebook with all the girls at the party, and you're the one holding the bottle about to drink it. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's my mom. I was like, when did this happen?
Remember?
Because you were drunk.
She doesn't remember.
Because you were drunk.
I remember that so vividly. I was like, oh my goodness, when did this happen?
Well, I remember that one time you had a party in here. There were so many kids in here, and you were drinking. And then it was time to clean. For some reason, I went out and I started to clean the bottles. And then Derek comes to me and he says, "Who are you?" And I said, "The cleaning lady." That was the party when there was so many. There were like 3 kids that were so drunk. One slept in the bathroom.
Was Cody one of them?
I don't remember who it was. I don't remember.
I guess
it's better for it's better to me. It's good for the parents to know who their kids hang out with.
But I feel like that's one thing, but I feel like the way you took it was like a step further than I feel like any other parent kind of would, where like to get yourself immersed in like what's going on. Like I can understand like just having like a small hangout or like meeting them at like like a lunch or dinner, going to the movies, or like something kind of more casual, as opposed to like a house party where everyone's like drinking, getting drunk, getting wild.
Well, I like to party. That's the thing.
Is that where we get it from? Is that where we get it from?
Life lesson.
That's part of parenting.
Mom, if you want to throw a party, I know a lot of people who'd be wanting to go. They would take weekends off for that party, real quick.
I'd fly in.
But to touch on that a little bit, now that we're older, and you kind of talked about it a little bit, where now that you're older as well, you have time to kind of look back on us kind of retrospectively and see, you know, the fruits of your labor and how you raised us. And I know me and you kind of talked about it a little bit before the podcast. But I was curious to see, like, now that we're older, we're more mature, do you see like traits of yours that you have passed down to like us?
Oh dear, plenty of them.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Like what?
like what? Let's see. What was that you said today? That
I have
that's where I
ADD.
get it from.
I have ADD and I'm a scatterbrain.
It is scattered brain. Yeah,
I can't focus.
I get it from. You know, I think a lot of my bad qualities Michael got. The loud voice,
Well, that's kind of all of us.
the tone of the voice, the tone, you know, like
Mm.
I'm
That-
always
that-
angry.
It almost
like
sounds
it's like-
angry,
almost
but it's just
angry.
raised. Mhm.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. But you know, when you were kids, I always warned you, I'm almost getting angry, and then you start behaving. That's all I have to say. I'm almost angry.
I guess because like I talked about it with you, and then you mentioned Mike. What about Matt? What traits do you think, like, now that you again same thing, that he's older, he's more mature? Do you see him like sharing traits?
All my good traits Matthew got.
The favorite. He's always the favorite. Come on! And I get the scatterbrain and the ADD. That's not fair.
Organization,
Check.
precise.
Check.
Well, although Mark got my ugly trait of being a perfectionist, Mark got that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
A
That's for sure.
perfectionist is
Mark has
good.
it the worst.
Yeah. Yeah, the extreme is Mark.
it
the
can be
perfectionist
good.
trait.
It can be good, but then it's also just debilitating
Mm.
when it goes too far.
But when you become older like me, you don't care about perfection. You just do what you need to do.
Mm.
When I was young, yes, everything has to be perfect. Precise.
That's one of the things I would say I learned from you, Mom, was like, make it look good. That's what I remember. That's like one of the things I always remember you teaching me was like, I never got the idea that I had to make something perfect, but I had to make it appear to look good. Because I
Good,
remember
yes.
every school presentation, every homework assignment, every project, I would worry about what was inside of it, and you would always say, "That's good, but also make it look good."
Yes.
And that was something that I was like, fast. I mean, now I take it so far to heart because if you make something look good, it goes so far.
so far, yeah.
It like
That's
makes what's inside so much more powerful.
That's why I always say make your handwriting very good, because when the handwriting is good, the teacher won't even read it anymore. It looks good. Okay, done. Perfect. 100%. You know? What? There's so many students. There's like 30, 60 of them. I cannot read all of them.
Genius.
But if you present it as good, you're perfect, 100%. You see? That's the trick.
I mentioned this to you before, Mom. So we are live right now, and there are people in our chat right now talking. But Tati brought up an interesting question. She was asking, how does it feel to see the friends, like our friends, grow up alongside us? For example, like Anton, Cody, Philip, Barry, Kirby, and stuff like that.
It makes us so happy because it's like being a family. You know, they are like, it's not, I don't even consider them as just friends. They are family because you are able to give them advice, and they are also comfortable in asking me for advice if they need it. So that it's a very good thing, which does not happen to a lot of people. See, there's a lot of disconnect. You have to make the effort of connecting in order for you to be a family. Otherwise, I don't think it's like it's not common for. That's what Kirby wrote in that message. He said that we have 4 friends that have really been close, that has been passed on to kids, and now is going to be passed on to
our next generation.
Grandchildren. So that's a thing that people should do, because that way you have, especially us, we don't have family here. We have to create our own family in order for us to, to have a family. Otherwise, you are just you. That's it, and it's boring. It has to be something. Has to be spice.
When you guys were, so now I see the similarities between Barry, John, Mike, Lisa, Kirby, Angela, for example, because they all have kids. Was it similar to you guys, where you hoped that all of your kids would get along when we were growing up, like me, Anton, or you kind of just introduced each other and it worked out?
Yeah, it just worked out. We didn't have like the goal of for us being close to each other. It just because when we do things, we include the kids. Like that's just comes. It just naturally develops. It's not like something that you have to plan. And I'm glad it is, because I didn't think that we would be. It's difficult. Remember that trip that we had? 18 people, all different personalities. I thought, oh dear, something. But it did perfect. To me, it was a very good trip. And it's difficult because it's 18 totally different personalities, and then we just. It did not create no problem at all.
Yeah, we all get together and we all just have a good time.
And remember, before that, we had discussions of, Matt, what are we gonna do? But he says, I figured out, Mom. Don't worry. Well, if the goal is for us to have fun, you don't mind those little imperfections anymore, because the goal was to have fun. So again, the goal is to be happy. Did I answer Tati's question, or did I go far away from the question answer?
That tends to happen in these, Mom. But you did answer it. I think you did.
So,
I have one other question. Were you guys? I guess it wasn't ever your intention for us to all become super close and like be this close as we are today. I think it is amazing. It's one of the things that surprises me, that we have friends that are basically our family, that we've grown up with ever since. Were you guys surprised that all of us in this generation were all boys?
Were we surprised? No.
Yeah, it was just whatever.
Is it all boys, Micah? Mark?
Yeah,
Me,
all of us are
Mark,
boys.
Michael, Barry, Anton, Philip, Kirby, Cody.
The only
That's
the only
true.
girls in our group aren't blood
Is
related.
Monica.
It's Monica, yeah,
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
only girl is Monica. That's true. Yeah, it's
and that
all
didn't work
boys.
out either. Well, like and
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's all boys. The girls are the one that make it difficult, you know.
Ooh, ooh.
It's always the girls that make it difficult. That's a fact.
Oh, I know, Mom.
that's an interesting. I mean, we won't delve into that, but that is interesting. I was just curious about that because now I think the conversation that we have is like, are the kids gonna go out with each other one day? Are they going to like? How is their relationship gonna grow?
I hope their relationship will be like us now. How close we are with Auntie Jing and Auntie Cecil.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping for that because that way you have a family. You know, it's not just one. A big family is what it is.
Mm.
And I think it will. I think it will because, you know, we already planning. Somebody's already planning for the next year. So if we keep our relationship this way, eventually, when you become older like us, you will still be close.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep up with it, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
If you don't go other states and you don't see each other anymore.
Uh-oh.
Why
Sorry, Matt.
did you have to say other states, Mom?
Far
As
away.
if, there,
far
as if
away.
there's only 2 kids in that whole group that are in other states.
And it has to be you,
I know.
my kids.
Me and Michael are the only ones. You had to mention that.
Cause
I'm still thinking of what other things should I have changed, but I don't think there's other things that I would have changed, Mark.
Hmm.
I had hardest time thinking about that. What
That's a
would I
good
have
thing.
changed?
Right? It's interesting because at the end of the day, that's a good thing. The fact that you're struggling to answer that, I think, is amazing. Because I think that means you honestly are happy with your life right now. That, like, you wouldn't change anything. I think that's amazing. I don't think everyone can say that or think that way in their own right.
Yeah, because Mark told me that. I'm thinking, how can I answer that question? And then I asked Mark again, what is the question again? Am I not getting it? Because I cannot answer it. Well, again, I'm saying you have to be happy. There's no other choice. You have to be happy.
I have one question. Mark, if you don't have one, I have a question.
go for it.
that I
Go for
asked
it.
Mom. So, like, for me, the move from Florida to Chicago was like a big step. And for me, going through this, I always draw the parallel of you and Pop moving from the Philippines to here. What was that like for you? Was it exciting? Was it terrifying? How was like that whole journey? Because I can only imagine it's what I've gone through, but 100 times harder.
Okay, when Michael left, I was so sad. It was so difficult for me that he had left.
Mm-hmm.
Then I realized, oh my goodness, imagine my mother when I left the Philippines. There was no FaceTime, the only way we could communicate was through letter, and that letter took 3 weeks before it get there. But at that time, we were excited. We were like, it's gonna be a new life for us. It's like improvement, self-improvement. So that's why when you moved out of the state, I my feeling was it's gonna be an improvement to them. They don't even know how sad I am that they moved out because they're too excited of their new life.
Mm-hmm.
Because I never thought, it never dawned on me what my mother felt when I left
Mm-hmm.
until you are the one that left. That's when I
Mm-hmm.
felt that, oh my goodness, how difficult it was for them. That me, because for a girl to move out to the United States so far away must have been so scary for them.
Mm-hmm.
Did I think about that? No, I didn't think. I didn't even. I just realized it now that you're the one that moved out.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, we were, it was a new life. It was gonna be. I think we were um, too involved with the being scared of how are we gonna pass the board exams, how are we gonna speak English the proper way,
Mm-hmm.
how are we gonna work with these people. So we
Mm.
never thought of how other people
People would
felt.
think.
It was
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
the struggle,
It was like survival first.
the
Like
survival,
how do I make it through?
and success, because
Mm.
not everybody can come to America.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And it was difficult for us to, you have to do a lot of exams for you to be able to work as a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
So when you pass all those exams, you're gonna say, I'm not gonna turn back. I struggled to take this, and I'm not gonna turn back.
Mhm.
But I never thought of how my parents felt. Oh, it
Yeah.
never dawned on me until you are the one that left.
That's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, so I guess the other question is, do you remember the moment when you made the decision to move to the Americas?
I,
Or was
I
it
was
just
so
everyone was
happy.
doing that? So you kind of just followed. Like, was there something that made you say, I'm going to do this? Was there like a moment in your life that triggered that?
Well, when I was working, okay, in the hospital where we work, people apply for America.
Mm-hmm.
So they like, people were like leaving, and I'm thinking, if I don't leave, I will be the only one here, so I better go. I really
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the desire to come to America. I was just happy, content with what I had.
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh no, I cannot be the only one left here. I better go.
Mm. So like people already started moving to America
Yeah.
and you saw
Like
that
my
trend.
coworkers, my
Mm-hmm.
coworkers were coming to America. They were, they got accepted in jobs here. And
Mm-hmm.
the only reason I came was I didn't want to be the only one left.
Mm.
I didn't have dreams of coming to America. I didn't, that was, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I'm content.
Mm-hmm.
Contentment is the key.
Mm.
Although I was only paid very little, by the end of, before the month ends, I would ask my mom for money because I didn't have enough money.
Back as a nurse in the Philippines.
Yeah, yeah. We don't get paid a lot there.
Was that
It's
also a
like,
big incentive to move to America? Was the
no,
pay was better? No, not really.
no,
And then
that
it just
never
kind of
done.
Not for you.
Yeah, never done. I never had that ambition of being rich. No. Contentment, Matthew, is the key.
Do you think if you ended up staying in the Philippines and then you saw kids, do you think we would be drastically different than the way we are now? Like if we
No,
were born and raised in the Philippines compared to
you would be
here?
the same way because I'm the same person anywhere.
Hmm.
See, you have to be smarter than your kids. You that way you are able to. When you were kids, I used to tell you, you better behave because I have eyes in the back of my head.
Oh,
Remember
I
that?
forgot you used to say that. I remember that. I almost believed I believed that as a kid.
Uh-huh.
I started to think that moms had that was part of what moms had. Eyes on
Uh-huh.
the back of their head.
You remember me saying that?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And you remember me saying that if you don't do good in school, I'm going to ask the teacher that I'm going to sit beside you in the school for every lesson.
I don't remember you saying
I don't
that.
remember that.
Uh, well, I think, I don't know if it was Michael that I said that, but I used to volunteer at the school. Remember, I used to volunteer?
Yeah.
And I would say that if you do not do good in the school, I'm gonna sit with you and I'm gonna embarrass you. I'm gonna be going to school with you and sitting with you in the classroom. And I thought that was, I said, oh, that's why they did very good. They were scared that I would sit with them. But I did, the thing though is you have to really work hard in order to produce a good product.
Mhm.
I worked hard. I would study with you and I would fall asleep while you're reading the book.
Mhm.
But I had to do it because that was the only way for you to do good in school. So it has to be, you have to have, you work hard for it and you get the good product.
Mm.
If you don't work hard, then products are not so good.
Yeah.
You see?
I mean, those last minute projects were always good. When we tell you that we had a project at like 8 p.m., let's do the next morning.
Yes.
And we had to do a trifold board presentation for the class the next day.
Yes. I think it was Matthew's project. That one, Matthew had a project one time, and couldn't remember. It did not come out the way it was supposed to be. And I think we just took a picture of it. We were working on it in Lemuel's house. It was some project that we had to do, and it was the last minute. It was already nighttime, and we were struggling with the project. And I finally said, just take a picture of it. We just pretend that it worked, and then we passed. We got an A for that.
I don't
remember
remember the
that?
project. I'm trying to think. I feel like I remember
It was
being at
like a,
Lemuel's house, but I can't remember the project itself.
what was it, like a car that was supposed to something, Mama? I know
Did
it
we
was
build a
something.
roller coaster? Was that
It
when
was
we were supposed to build a
something
roller
that
coaster or something?
it was a roller coaster though, but it was something that, yeah, I think it was something like that, Matthew. But the car wouldn't work. It did not work. So I said, okay, let's turn this around. Let's take a picture of it, and then we submit it as if it worked, and we got an A.
Hard work.
It was
Hard work, good product.
We're on the air. All of my credibility is built on my grades. Now they know I'm a fraud.
Are we? The whole world hears this.
Yeah, now we know
Yeah,
the whole
technically.
world. One day, Mom, if I ever become famous, they're gonna look at this podcast and know that Matt cheats on his school projects.
Matt writes
Well, it
nice,
was like,
just so
it
then
was really
teachers don't
10
read his
o'clock at
papers.
night, I think, and we couldn't figure it out. And I said, nah, just take a picture of this one because I've already done.
Oh man.
It still looked good, Mama. Remember, the presentation is the most important thing.
Sometimes that's all you need.
That's all you need is the presentation.
All right, but I think it is close to that time. It's about time for us to start closing up shop. I guess, Matt, if you want
I'll
to go
take
ahead
it.
and yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. This hour has flown by. I wish we could spend more time in it, but it's part of the show. I think like part of the window creates this opportunity for us to connect really quickly. It's amazing. So I mean, first off, I want to thank everyone in the audience. It's been really awesome. Like, I don't know, Mom, if you have it open, or Mark, I'm guessing you do, but it's crazy how many people are engaged just to be part of this. I think it's a testament to how awesome you are, Mom, and like the relationship you've built with all of our friends. So thank you for everyone that showed up. It like means the world to us. And then from just in general, guys, like check us out on YouTube, like and subscribe us, hit the bell. You'll get notifications next time we go live. and that'll like help out me and Mark a ton because marketing is something we definitely need to improve on.
Yeah.
But check those like do those things and hopefully you guys get notifications. It helps us out a ton and it means a lot. Like those, it means a lot when someone likes the video. It's like one click of a button. So let us know if you like it, and if not, like comment, share your thoughts on the video itself. Tell us how we can improve, because we're more than happy to hear that. Like again, it's all about making things look good. So in any way we can do that, like let us know. Um, Mom, thanks, like for everything. First off, like I think at the end of the day, I don't think we say it enough, but at least for me, I'm sure for Mark, I'm sure for Mike, like n- we share the sentiment that I think our lives are overall great, and it wouldn't have been the same if it wasn't for you guys, for you and Pop, all the hard work, all those hours, and like for us, again, I'm speaking for Mark and Mike as well, but like it's we appreciate it. We don't always say it. It's not always easy to say it. Um, I'm sure there's no way I would have even made it to Chicago if it wasn't for you guys. If I had different parents or if things were different, if you guys didn't put in the time to like make me do times tables way before school started. Like those are the things that I didn't like at the time, but they've made me who I am as a person. And I can't thank you enough. Um I there's one thing that I think would be really cool to ask you, Mom. We do this for every podcast, usually. Um the question is, if you could have us have someone else as a guest on the podcast. So like think of it as the same thing, but instead of you, it's someone else. Who would you think would be a really cool person to have?
Uncle Boy, maybe.
Uncle Boy. That would be
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
We'll keep that in mind.
Okay.
We'll jot that down. I think Cody has been a big part of the podcast too, so I think that would be really cool to have him on. We'll
Yeah.
keep that. We'll note that.
We can try to
Yep.
even get both of them on.
That would be cool.
Who? Auntie G and Uncle Boy?
Eventually.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Even that.
Cody said he can hardly. Cody will,
Cody and Uncle Boy.
Cody will need your help on
That would
putting that
be
one
so
up.
much fun. That would be so much fun. Do it.
That would be awesome. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll note that. So, Mom, in usual fashion, hopefully Mark has informed you. We give our last minute of the podcast to our guests. You can close it out in any way you want. It's like completely your forum. We'll put a timer on. We'll switch my like webcam with a timer. It'll be 60 seconds, and essentially the floor will be yours. You can say whatever, and then we'll close out the podcast from there. Are you good?
So, Mom, you about ready to go?
I have to say what I have to say. Is that all?
Yeah.
You
For
can
1
say
minute.
whatever you want.
Anything you want for 1 minute.
the minute.
All you have to do is fill up the minute.
And then Matt's screen will show you the timer that you have. So, are you good to go, Mom?
I'm good to go.
Okay. So we'll count you off. Again, this is still a work in progress. We got to find a smooth way to do this. Matt, you ready to transition to our closing scene?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Matt, if you
I'll
want to
count
go
you
ahead
off,
and give Mom the countdown.
All right, Mom. The floor will be
So
yours again for a minute. I'll say go. I'll say 3, 2, 1, go, and then it's all you.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
Well, the summary of this is communication, good communication, and to sum it all up, you have to have a happy life. And of course, with a happy life is a lot of love. And that makes life very easy. It's your attitude. It's you have to create your own happiness, and everything just falls into place. A lot of love is also very important, and that's all I can share. Good communication will we meet again.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.